was looking for something here. I love the concept. And in a way, that's what I do. And when every time I set a stone mill and some asshole boss is going to look at me and was like, yeah, you didn't make a stone mill, did you, Ball Skull Map? And I'll be like, no, Bones. I forgot wave function. But while we're on the subject matter, in that subject matter space, let's just call that my house, shall we? The Bones house inside of there. Because about playing guitar. I'm sure I could make some eventually. I pay somebody to study the Lepiton, the Battle of Lepiton for me, and then because they know me, they Grammarly it, and then where I want my flaw to be a benefit is that I taught the computer to do a task for me that is no matter what task I did, Lepiton, Constantinople, programming, how to play guitar. It's going to give me that real basic first rookie step that builds the head and body, but you got to figure out how to break that quantumly, which is a lot about Q learning right now. Kind of building these TPU bots with CPUs and GPUs and DPU equipment that all have this, 10 to the negative 13 expansion level of different ways to route it, because technically they'll all do the same physics, whether it's the statement or an object or whatever. But again, I just want to touch on that note of it's not going to necessarily make you art history or guitar player, because even though it got acoustic harmonics down and it has the whole key to the GCD chords that'll play every song. There's a tempo and harmonics and all those other things came in there. It's well organized, and there's like a logic to it that you'll figure out by keying off all bunch of different sources. But there's many different versions of Sun Tzu. As long as there's a different key chapter, all the chapters may be the same, but your thesis would change if your two teachers are using two different books. On our course to that course, if you took that monk from that town over and put him inside of here, it's going to be a pole and a zero at least for a little bit until that starts to figure out how to operate that back through. So I wanted to bring that up because I want to talk about the game thesis here. What is the ball to a hillbilly like me that is nowhere near capably sound, one, to even have any of this set up right? There's a score to a calculus teacher as far as a programmer. The system being make a 3D engine game. And that 3D engine platform has to be ready for anything capstone I'm about to put into there. Its output has to be based of its system's limits and energy. From there, taking energy, turning to light and some other currents, high and low, burning that and replacing it. None of that you need here. I just need this to come up. We're going to build you a screen. That's what this is. And build you some simple boxes. From these simple boxes, we might be able to change the platform. Well, because a box here, or this oversight, may be very different codings. That X turned into a Y, and the score I have as a calculus teacher, for you to make it outside of this store consistently, like open software, hide and seek, is critical to certain unknown timelines that are irrational, with this base that makes them rational. It gives me, well, unfortunately, even though you're the only kid I had in program in school today, would you fight the logic that goes into what code you would just grab a second ago and put it in against how to form that, because you just skipped that step and had an AI do all that studying for you? And equally, you can see the result that there's this out here without a clean process for me to be able to break that down. Step by step might be, clean headings, black screen stuff, black screen stuff. If I never tested that time sequence with or without it, just with a control base, then I'm not really holistic in the computer programming or scientific method, chemistry, organic chemistry here. That is at least, and again, I can't just be that much of a hillbilly with these kinds of words. It doesn't happen that way in the stone mill. I know it doesn't. Usually, when you start asking stuff like that, you'll get this common sense problem or this example of, well, salamanders get in that pump, so you have to drag that elephant's dong out of the pump or out of the pond, shake it out, reprime it. Because if you don't shake it out, I know what you're thinking. It's like, well, I didn't shake it hard enough. Yep, apparently there's a physics to that, and with that becomes the managerial choice. Like, I hate to admit it, but 5'9" guy, unless you got some initial spin or kinetics coming from older stone mills, you might not have what it takes to throw that over your shoulder. That's something I can't afford to miss in a way of programming like that. So again, balls and squares, waves, 3B, 1B, light. These are our lines. If it's not the ball, different. A Vitruvian pixel person here, then I don't know what that is. And again, to be real, first thing is I'm going to make this pixel. I can make it blocky as hell. That's fine. We'll figure out how to render that later, but at least it serves the purpose that I can still use this as a tool where I can draw a map and a bottle cap down here efficiently enough. Much, as scribbly as my handwriting would be, there's some things about having an undo button that makes it fast. That erasing it, rulers, can be a real pain in the ass on the paper copy level. That's just not as practical if I'm willing to cut it out there and make practical forms that are not really tangible space. Just kind of this eddy current where stuff lines up and people seem to bottleneck. And I want to make sure I put it in a bottle for them, and we sell it to them. Catch you on the next one.